Financial influencers often target the $5 latte as the ultimate budget villain. While the advice is easy to mock, it reveals how small, automatic habits are draining a non-renewable resource, your time. Investing $5 daily at a historical 10% return reaches $1.4 million over 40 years. Measured in working years, that represents years of your life spent replacing a single daily purchase, turning a morning beverage into a massive loss of future freedom. The sticker price at the register is a fraction of the real cost. The true expense is the decade of financial independence you trade away for a temporary convenience. The cafe is just one node in an ecosystem designed for lifestyle creep, the tendency for your spending to expand as quickly as your income. Powered by automated subscriptions, fast fashion cycles, and frictionless food delivery, modern commerce is engineered to prioritize short-term dopamine hits over long-term wealth. Every frictionless buy now button is a calculated trade that exchanges your future stability for an immediate chemical reward. Reversing this trend requires reintroducing intentional friction into your daily routine. This means choosing the complexity of making that same latte at home rather than the ease of the drive-thru. DIY habits do more than just claw back monthly cash flow. By forcing a manual process, you break the engineered dopamine loop and regain a sense of agency over your transactions. This level of saving acts as a deliberate psychological tactic to reclaim control from a market that is optimized to empty your accounts. The financial independence, retire early, or FIRE movement is the mathematical extreme of this DIY mindset. It is a strategy built to radically compress the traditional 4-decade career. A standard budget follows the 50-30-20 rule. This splits total income into 3 blocks: 50% for essential needs, 30% for discretionary wants, and 20% for long-term savings. FIRE practitioners hack this architecture by expanding their savings rate to 50 or even 75% of their total income. This requires shrinking the needs and wants blocks until the majority of the income is funneled into wealth accumulation. Achieving these rates involves aggressive shifts, like house hacking, renting out space in your home to eliminate housing costs, minimizing vehicle debt, and adopting a minimalist lifestyle focused on utility. This high savings rate provides the thrust needed for financial escape velocity. The more you save, the fewer years you are required to trade your labor for survival. But high savings alone can be vulnerable. Holding that capital in cash allows inflation to erode its value, meaning the money you've worked for buys less every year it sits idle. To maintain growth, FIRE adherents use low-cost index funds. An index fund is a type of investment that holds a piece of every company in a market index, like the S&P 500, allowing you to capture broad economic growth without the high fees of active management. Over time, the goal is to shift from active labor to passive income. This is the point where your invested capital generates more wealth every day than your physical labor does in a paycheck. The 4% safe withdrawal rate is the exact formula used to determine when financial independence is officially achieved. Historically, withdrawing 4% of a balanced portfolio each year allows the principal to survive. The capital regenerates its value through market growth, creating a loop where you can live off the returns indefinitely without depleting your original nest egg. Reaching your 4% number is the threshold where survival is permanently decoupled from the necessity of a 9-to-5 job. However, hitting the mathematical finish line does not guarantee psychological fulfillment. Early retirement introduces its own set of challenges that numbers alone cannot solve. Many who reach this goal face a loss of purpose. If your identity is tied entirely to your career or the act of aggressive saving, the sudden stop of that work can lead to significant existential distress. The very habits used to build wealth, extreme deprivation and relentless frugality, can become a psychological prison if you haven't planned for what comes after the saving stops. Without a clear, intentional plan for how to use your recovered time, financial independence can feel like a well-funded void. The FIRE movement is ultimately about securing the autonomy to design a life aligned with your personal values. This connects the macro strategy of index funds back to the micro habit of making coffee at home. Both are exercises in intentional design, deliberately choosing how your resources are spent rather than letting consumption happen by default. Money is a renewable resource, but time is finite. This makes your time the most valuable asset you will ever manage. The next time you face a mundane purchase, look past the price tag. Decide if that momentary dopamine hit is truly worth the permanent trade of your own future freedom.